Hello everybody, JJ, I'm Sito here. Welcome back to another video once again with the other forecasting here. I had a little bit of a break, right? It was a good time, not gonna lie. But we are back. I can't, I cannot be calm. Actually, I've been calm for almost a week. What am I saying? So, let's talk about the important stuff. No one cares about my health, about my safety. We are talking about severe weather today. Pretty rare update here on the day 3 outlook. Had added a day 3 enhanced risk of severe weather for a 30% 6 severe weather probability for mainly northeast Texas Panhandle, western Oklahoma, and southern Kansas. Pretty big hatched area and a pretty big slide risk as well, right? Covering uh, almost into Nebraska and also a little bit of I think it's Colorado. Very interesting setup is going to develop here. All hazards possible, very large hail, severe wind gusts, and if I may say, right, not me saying, SPC, let's make me very clear. So, in both of these areas, storms are expected to move eastward of the dry line, encountering strengthening of level southerly flow and environment that is increasingly favorable for tornadoes. The level shear will continue to strengthening into early evening, and the overall environment supports the potential for a few strong to intense tornadoes if a discrete supercell mode can be maintained. Now, if I let me go back for just a few days, let me go back to the 20th, very quick here. I think actually the 21st is the best day for me to look. If we look at the day 4 to day 8 collective outlook here, it already had a day 5 risk for that area, and also day 6. So we went from although an isolated tornado threat could develop on Thursday, it started from a couple strong to intense tornadoes. So yeah, also not going to forget that we have a day 4, day 5, and a day 6. No, 50% severe probability. Do expect to see day 4 and day 5 to be upgraded into, as we're going to tomorrow, into a day 3 enhanced and a day 4 30% severe probability, as the models are not looking good. Right, so it looks like we're going to have a multi-day severe weather event with multiple days of significant severe weather potential. All of the days with tornado threats. Probably Thursday, the day with the highest ceiling is probably going to be the 27th. It looks very interesting. The Thursday also has a pretty big, very interesting potential. All days actually have a very interesting potential. Friday is probably going to be the worst day, mainly due to where it's going to happen. So yeah, the chasing perspective of the severe weather is not going to be favorable. But yeah, we have a very interesting situation developing. Our models here of machine learning models, they are not AI generated like the AI, like the ECMWF AIFS, but they already picked up. CSU has shown a day 3 high risk, which is impossible, but they are machine learning. They are pretty aggressive, so don't take that for granted. I want to start here with the NAM because it's the main outlier, right? So we have today. Let me get the national view of NAM 3 kilometers columns. We're starting here with the NAM 3 kilometers. So we have you can see right. I think actually for this part I'm going to go for the NAM, the normal NAM, because it has a better view. So we have this trough right here. I want to go a little bit earlier. So we have a trough that digs through the US, right? You can see very negative tilted. Let me get my drawing too. I'm going to use it a lot in this video. So you can see it goes boom, very to the west, right? Which means a negative tilted trough. 150 milliwatt response, mainly due to it being a negative to the trough, is absolutely ridiculous. Look at the amount of low level shear. Let me go into the viewpoints, like right, very quick, and you can see a substantial moisture evacuation. The moisture evacuation is mainly due to the time that we had with quite severe weather. With the lack of upper air activity, we had the moisture had the moisture from Gulf of Mexico had really had the time to evac and go northern into the continent. So yeah, we have a pretty big warm sector, very broad and very active warm sector with 60s and all across with actually 70s maybe in southern Texas. One thing, and I'm going to say this very quickly, this setup is similar to the last Monday setup, right? I think it was 12th, if I'm not wrong. So 22. No, it was the 15th actually. So it's similar to the setup we had on the 15th, right, of April 2024. But this one is a little bit better, right? The trough this time it's in time, right? And this is going to be a concern when we talk about the cap later on. So the trough this time is in time, right? So we probably won't have issues with the trough. Probably. Not saying it's a guarantee. It doesn't look like we're going to have issues with forcing, especially the trough kicking faster, right? Although the main ejection of the trough may not be completely there as we go on. One thing that I want to point out is that differently from the last severe setups that we had, especially Monday, this time models are convecting, which is very interesting. So then we have 3 convecting allowing models so far. We have RFS, HRW, and NAM. The NAM is not convecting. The rest of it is. So I'm trusting more the other models. The NAM is and the NAM is not convecting mainly for its cool bias, but we're going to talk about that later. I'm looking here. Let me go into the surface-based cape. Remember, this is for 6 p.m. and we see a lot of cape just along the dry line here. 2,000, almost 3,000 there in Kansas joules per kilogram cape, just per kilogram of cape, just along the dry line. Very, very, very nice cape. Oh my gosh, English is hard. So a lot of instability going to be available for the setup. SRH, which is our measurement of wind shear, is also very present, around 200, 300, just along the dry line. It's probably going to be stronger on a few soundings here. Let me look here at the EHI for the levels of composite parameters, and you can see very high, 3.4s, 4.4s, and actually probably getting to 5s later. If I may go to the STP, it's also very present, especially in Kansas and Oklahoma. So, what is the deal then? The setup looks amazing, right? The setup is not entirely fail-proof. And as we go into the convective inhibition, I think you can see it, right? Yeah, the convective inhibition is pretty strong. And that's why you mainly expect the convection to be just along the dry line, right? Now let me get you a very quick sounding here, and this sounding just shows my point, right? So, the cap is not that bad, right? You can see it's pretty subtle of a cap, which is already more favorable than normal. And this time it's not going to be that big of a problem either, because one, we have a weaker cap, two, we have a better forcing mechanism. We have a better trough, the trough that should be able to get in time for the setup. The next few days, the 27 doesn't have those issues, right? So, stronger trough, faster ejection, right? So it's getting there faster. The cap is also weaker. The warm sector here on the NAM, and this is mainly on the NAM, although there are some signs that I'm going to show from the NAM, they have a little bit of moisture on the surface, but as we go northern, it very quickly goes west in a lot of dry air. Not as dry as it could be, it's still very dry air. And also, but the rest of the sounding is honestly pretty great. The holograph could do some work, but it's already okay, it's already decent. 8.7 low-level apps rates, which is, goodness gracious, is very good for a plane setup. 3,360 joules per kilogram of cape. 3 capes up in the hundreds with 126. Instability is not going to be an issue, I said it. Effective wind shear at 68 knots. Goodness gracious. That is a very strong wind shear. And also EHI and SRH are pretty strong. So now I'm going to go for over a few soundings from real life, right? And a few from the NAM. So this one is got from the Discord, so that's why the quality is almost non-existent. But this sounding is probably the most selected and bizarre sounding I've ever seen on the NAM. The photograph is perfect. You can see right here, very curved, very just an amazing photograph. If this were to happen in reality, this would be probably an EF4 plus type of sounding. And I want to give you a look here on the warm sector, and you can see the warm sector is very deep. We have a very big depth of the instability, right, of the moisture. So a lot of moisture up into like almost a 500 millibar level when the dry air eventually kicks in. Also, a lot of left are pretty insane. So this is just an exaggerated example. But now I'm going to go over a few soundings that I got from Collective Chronicles. Very nice channel. You should check it out if you want a better idea of what's happening than me. So, I'm sorry. This is a sounding here from Brownsville, Texas, right? An observed sounding from real life, from April 14th, 2024. And as mentioned here by Collective Chronicles, you have a very shallow moist layer. So you can see we have 69 over 80, which is pretty good on the surface, right? So it looks good. But first of all, this is very capped, of course. This is pre-convection. This is not the day of the event. But you can see that very quickly as you go into the atmosphere, the moist layer just ceased existing, and then we go into this very dry air loft. And I want to go now to our second setup here near the same place, in the same exact place, Brownsville, Texas, right? Observe sounding as well. And look at this. Way more moist environment, especially near the surface, right? You have here 62 over 70s and very deep moist there. So this is already something that puts the Monday setup ahead of the setup on the Friday, the Thursday setup ahead of the Monday sounding CPU otherwise, Tornado wise, because it's more likely for us to have the convection, and if we have the convection, boom, it's in an explosive environment almost. So this is the general idea. I want to go to our next model right here. Oh, I had two NAMs. That's nice. So I want to go a little quickly into the GFS. I normally don't use the GFS at this range, but I'm going to use it. Why not? So 500 millibar is pretty much the same thing as the NAM. Maybe a little bit quicker with the trough, but not so much. That's pretty much the same solution. 850 millibar response, as I said before. If you want to load up, there you go. Very strong level shear, very strong surface response. Let me look very quick into the dew points, and you can see what the dew points are. Not as favorable as the dam, but still pretty good. 60 is probably something in the GFS. The global models like to do these things like moisture and stability. Along the dry line, now let me get a very quick sounding just along the dry line in here, just to show. Wow, this is a very capped environment. Yeah, that is a very capped environment. You can see right here. The moisture, for some reason, these models are not going very deep. Like real life moisture is already going more deep than this. So, and we're almost 2 days before the event. And you can see how the cap is pretty strong. It's a bit stronger than the NAM, honestly. But in general, the rest of it is almost perfect. Like we have 200 SRH is already decent. The level after is very good. 7.6 already fine. The end cape is pretty fine, especially for global models, because global models are like to underdo the cape, right? Let me look here. This is actually the same thing. The cape and the stability is going to be around the 2000. Yeah, 2,500, 2,700, almost 3,000 here in Kansas. So let me look very quick here into the SRH, the measurement of wind shear, and yeah, it's pretty favorable. Almost on 370 here in northern Texas Panhandle. Let me get that sounding of that. And oh, I just got a little bit too along the dry line. Let me get a little bit more to the east. Probably just going to be already in the dry line. There you go. Still very, very shallow moist layer and very capped, well, which is something that's interesting for some reason. Low level levels are fine, cape is fine, holograph is very square for some reason. But yes, it's pretty strong. That's a general idea. So, yeah. I don't have much things to talk about the GFX. Oh, I need to talk about the 200 millibar rinse. Yeah, I forgot about that. So, let me get the beautiful thing called the dry line measurement. So this is the dry line. I'm going to actually make it a little bit like something like this. I think it's actually going to be easier for me to find the general area of the angle very quick. So if the angle makes exist, there you go. And the general idea is we have around 38.4, which is sort of sufficient. Both shear factors are also pretty perpendicular to the dry line. So yeah, as I said before, theoretically, we should have a very favorable environment and also a favorable mode. So yeah, we should have discrete supercells that should be able to be robust, well developed in a very nice environment. Lots of cape, lots of wind shear, not enough wind shear to completely tear the storms down, but sufficient wind shear to cause tornadoes, right? Let's go to the next model, which is the Euro model. Yeah, we need to talk about the Euro model. So let me look here real quick. This is the 12Z Euro, just to make it very clear. And the Euro is probably a little bit slower with the drop ejection than the GFS and the NAM. 150 millibar response is not letting us down on the NAM. It's also not as strong, but still very strong. Let me see at the dew point. Let me see the moisture of action very quick. And I do expect the moisture of action to be pretty much the same. Yeah, the global model is really under the moisture. And I don't have honestly much to say. Unfortunately, the import doesn't help me at all. So, for the interest of time, let's go to the last model that I want to show, which is the RFS. Also, I want to show the HRW. So, two models here that I want to show. So, I want to go here into the 26, right? And we're gonna actually go to the 8 to 19Z, and I want to go regional here. I want to go into the central US. And why am I saying this so specifically? Because the RFS and the HRW are probably one of the most. They are showing a very significant scenario. So, you know the drill. 500 millibar trough. I'm going to actually into 0Z. 500 millibar trough is pretty good. Ejecting already. You know the drill. 150 millibar response. What do you mean? It's amazing. Very close low here, and also very good. Low level shear. Viewpoints. They are motion of action. They are. It's pretty good, right? It's pretty good. So you're taking out the boxes. 500 millibar trough. Fast enough. 150 millibar response. Good. I don't have soundings unfortunately here, so yeah. But the moisture layer is pretty deep. It's pretty deep. I can guarantee you from something that I got that's on Twitter from the RFS, it's pretty significant. Surface based kit, it's also pretty strong, around 2,000, 3,000 joules per just joules per kilogram of cane. Goodness gracious, English is hard. So 200 millibar spot, 200 SRH. So yeah, I mean this is very non-believable. And why you said why is there this? I'm going to explain to you later. I think I'm going to go actually to 23Z. And yeah, it's already way better. But there is sufficient in this place that we have the high helicity. Well, we should go into the simulated reflectivity, and you're going to understand. Yeah, there you go. So, the RFS is showing a very significant scenario multiple supercells, very nice discrete supercells, by the way, developing in a very nice environment, very unstable environment, unstable actually, a lot of moisture, and the wind shear is also pretty good. Let me look at the SCP very quick. It is also almost near 7 near those supercells, so yeah, it's not looking great. Let me look at the updraft helicity tracks. This is going to, and you can see already they're popping up on those 2 supercells the RFS are showing. So, these are they are showing the most significant scenario of them all, with the dryland convecting, right? Almost no. Let me go a little bit earlier. There's almost no convective inhibition near those. Yeah, you can see right here. This is the surface-based convective inhibition. Almost no convective inhibition. So yeah, these cells should be in an amazing environment and should be able, more than able, to convect ahead of the dry line here, right? Mixed layer convective inhibition is also pretty good, almost non-existent. Also mixed layer cape is going to be pretty good, and I'm going to look at these things deep because I can show them in the soundings. And also, let me look here quick at the AHI, and the AHI is probably going to be pretty significant as well as we go into the evening. And yeah, they are at 8.4. That's pretty common thing. So, let's go to the next, to the last. Oh gosh, English is difficult today. To the last model that I want to show, which is the HRWV FV3. This model in specific is probably the greatest cam we have as we go into the dryline setups. But I think it's convecting a little bit too quick. I don't expect it to convect at like 3 p.m. I think. Yeah, 3 p.m. But yeah, it's convecting the dryline very quickly. And the main idea behind the very quick convection is, first of all, the environment is insane. Right? The cape is pretty good, shear, know the drill. I've shown you the main soundings. And also the convective inhibition near the dryline is non-existent. The VF3 in the HRL show almost no convective inhibition near the dryline. Both in the surface-based convective inhibition and also in the mixed layer surface convective inhibition. So yeah, we have a very, very significant. These two models are showing the most significant situation of them all. STP also, as we go into these cells convecting and being mature, is not going to spark that much, but it's also going to be pretty significant. I don't know why it's being so conservative. Let me go here into 22Z, which is around 22Z minus 6, around 4 p.m. right? So 4 p.m. you draw, and let's look at the reflectivity, and goodness gracious, they have multiple supercells developing. The signal is not like as intense as shown by the RFS, because for some reason the HRW is more conservative on the composite reflectivity, but you can see multiple supercells, a little bit less discrete than the HRW and then the RFS, but that's something that we're going to probably figure out why later. Right? It's a little bit of a bias from the convective composite reflectivity here from the HRW, but you can see lots of supercells developing. Let me get sound in here near one of them to try to understand the idea. And okay, this one already makes the most sense. I don't know why I showed my Twitter there. So okay. And you can see already a little bit better of a moist. It's already more deep moisture, right? It also is also pretty capped. Not as much as I expected though. Very weak cap, honestly. But the general idea is this is a very nice sounding for severe weather. Not gonna lie. Moisturized, right? The rest is pretty shit. The shear is bad. Level abs rates are pretty meh. Cape is fine, but the moisture is very deep actually comparing to the latest other events that we have. And remember, I think we're almost 20 minutes in the video. We are still talking about Thursday. So that's a general idea about Thursday, and I'm going to go faster the next few days because I need to make these videos faster. So on the GFS here, back to the global models. On the 27th, on the 26th actually, And looking at the trough on the 500 millibar situation, you can see two things. One of them is this trough right here, which is going to cost you on the 27th, and the 28th, and the 29th, and maybe on the 30th. Yep, goodness gracious, we're going to have a long stretch of CVR. And this is the remains of the first trough that we had, right? You can see very close low. And it's ejecting on Missouri, Kansas, Iowa. And this is going to be where the main threat is going to be on the 26th. It's probably going to have less issues in the setup, less uncertainties probably than the 25th. Well, let's look at self-response, and self-response is one of the most insane things I've ever seen in my life. Wow. Like, look at this. This could be textbook. Surface response, very close low, strong low level flow, low level jet. This should be sufficient for a few supercells with a couple tornadoes. Look at that, very deep moist layer. Pretty capped though, and low level abstracts are pretty mid. Of course, this is a general sentence I just thought. So, moisture not going to be an issue, and actually moisture probably won't be an issue into the 27 as well. The moist layer is the moisture, the warm sector is actually going to be better on the 27th than on the 26th. So we have 60s just around Kansas, Missouri, eastern Oklahoma, eastern Kansas, and also Illinois, and a little bit of Indiana. Although Indiana is probably going to be nowhere near the worst place to be in the setup. So let's look here at surface-based cape, and the surface-based cape is pretty negligible. GFS doing GFS. Let me look actually at the NAM. How is the NAM doing the cape? It's already pretty better. 2000 joules per kilometer cape is already way better than the GFS showed. I'm not going to show. I'm not trusting NAM that much because NAM. That's this far out is just like its first or second run of the day, reaching to this time, so I'm not trusting it that much. Back here on the SR8 here, you can see it's pretty good. Oh god, probably due to that stronger surface response, right? We have stronger wind shear, of course. That moist layer is insane. That's very deep. Low level aspirates are probably going to be an issue with the setup. Probably some leftover convection is not going to help. But let's see at Missouri, how the setup, central Missouri here. A low speed maybe a little bit capped, but low level abstracts are borderline decent. Like these are okay. Shear is good. No issues about shear. The actual issue is the level abstracts. Probably going to be the temps. Oh boy, we are once again going into the issues of the uncertainties about instability, moisture, and all that. Actually, now the instability is still going to be low level abstract again. Let me get a sounding here from eastern Oklahoma. Let's just to see the situation there. Okay, not sure about that PDS store. A horograph is pretty okay. Pretty capped. This one is very capped. Goodness gracious. This is a very capped sounding. But part of that, lots of instability for a global model sounding, to be more specific. Let me look very quick here into the NAM on the 26, just mainly because I don't have much to look at in the Euro model. Let me look here. 500 millibar trough. It's probably going to be pretty insane. Pretty much the same thing. Oh, that's a way better solution, way better ejection. Wow. 850 millibar response is also. My god, the NAM is showing a very different situation. Moisture is also pretty good. Way better already than the GFS. Let me get Honey here from Missouri. Yep, this is already a way better sounding than the others we had. Moisture is very deep. Although a lot of dry air, the moisture depth is already more than sufficient. Holograph is okay. Could be a little bit better. Instability is good. Convective inhibition is nowhere near existent almost. Low level lapse rates are good. 7.0 is already decent. Shear as expected by the NAM. 54 effective ball shear, 370 SRH. This is a very significant situation here. So yeah, the setup is pretty good in general. That's the general idea. Let me go back here to the let's look here. Wait a minute, wait a minute, look. Actually, I might see if the instability is already downtrend by the look by 6 p.m. Because then maybe the setup is even more volatile than I expect. Come on. I have a winner. I know it's difficult, man. Okay, there you go. Let me see instability. Yep, that instability is very good. 2,000, almost 3,000 here in Iowa. So yeah, we have a very sparse, like very broad. I have a big sector of the U.S. Eastern Oklahoma, Eastern Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, Iowa, maybe Illinois, being in a very interesting situation. Multi-day, multi-stretch severe weather threat. We're not done. Remember, let me give a quick summary here on the. Let me look at the Euro model. I'm not going to completely ignore him. He has feelings. 500 mil response is pretty a little bit is agreeing more with the GFS, which makes sense. Probably just NAM being NAM and doing weird NAM stuff. The surface response. This is textbook surface level response. Well, it's it's sad that I can't show much, but actually the moisture evasion is pretty bad. Actually surprised to see the NAM having stronger moisture evasion, more deep moisture evasion than like the GFS, because normally it's the reverse. The NAM has a very cool bias, and being stronger is actually pretty weird. So let me go back to the GFS and resume the rest of the days, because goodness gracious, this video is probably already more than 20 minutes long. So going into the 27, and you see already a very different setup. A second trough, very negative tilted. Another, as I said, this is textbook style of troughs. A very strong trough takes through the U.S., ejecting mainly in Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. Surface-based response is not as textbook as before, but still very. Wow, that is a very good surface response. Wow. Moisture reduction, as I said before, ain't nowhere near being a problem. 68 here in Oklahoma. Let me look here at sounding, and wow, this is a very deep moist layer comparing to what we'll have on Friday. Jeez, this is way better moisture evasion. The photograph is negligible, but it was in order. One thing that maybe that it's making a little bit uncertain is probably lapse rates. Probably could be lower model just under doing level lapse rates, but I think they should be already better by the time of the year that we have. If we go closer to the dry line, it's going to be better. What the fuck is it sounding? Okay, so the sounding, yeah, the instability is pretty good. Wow, that is strong. That is strong stability. 2,000 all across the Oklahoma. From the this is strength from the GFS. What is this sounding, man? Well, that's not as absurd as like soundings that I showed from the H1, but that is very confusing. SRH is going to be pretty favorable. Maybe in southern Oklahoma it's going to be a little bit better. Yep, as I expected, PDF store. The level lapse rates are already more favorable 7.3. It's borderline good, right? I don't remember seeing HI this far out from an actual event. It looks to be a little bit capped, but that's probably going to be an issue that we're going to know more about it as we go into the next few days. Cape is insane. Wow. And very moist, like very moist in the lower levels of the atmosphere. And that's generally it. Let me look very quick here into the. Oh my gosh, I have so much stuff happening. Goodness gracious. Okay, let me look here at the Euro model on the 28th, on 27 actually. And the Euro model is it's pretty much the same picture. Very maybe actually more negative to the trough than before. As you expect, the surface response with that kind of trough is it's gonna be a little bit better, but it's also pretty fine. Let me look here at the dew points here, and the moisture is also pretty good. No, a little bit weaker than the GFS, but almost pretty much the same thing. Not a lot is changing here, and that's fine. That's fine. That's all I have, honestly. Uh, Going into the 29th, goodness gracious, there's so many days to talk. Going into the 29th, the trough continues to eject and gets pretty much the same way as the other trough just did, and goes ejecting in the Midwest, right? 850 millibars response is it's pretty good, honestly. Not as insane, but also pretty good. Low level more. Wow, look at that warm sector. Wow, the low level dew points here are insane. 65, 67 is actually getting into. Let me get a sounding. Wow, that's a very good. That's a very big warm sector there. Very deep moisture as well. Very deep moisture. Maybe a little bit too deep, honestly, but that's very deep moisture. Let me look very quick here into the instability. And the instability is a little bit shy, but you know, little models probably going to be a little bit better. But this is something that we're just going to discover as we go into the cams and all that. So yeah, it's still can change. This is like day 6 kind of stuff. I don't think this is we have enough confidence of this to be already 30% ish. But this is a very interesting situation for, like I said before, multiple days of severe potential. And it's going to continue onward. Like the 30th is also probably the 29th is going to have another threat. Maybe not as strong, but still existing. And then we're going to probably going to get into a little bit of maybe a little bit of quietness setup for maybe a little while. We don't know exactly. We're going to have to wait. That's bizarre. What the hell is happening? But yeah, guys, as I said before, and I said many times in the last few videos of this channel, we are getting into severe weather season. We are getting into tornado season, and this is going to slowly start having these almost pretty much all week as we go into May, June as well. June is probably going to be very active, and yeah, that's it, boys. Stay safe for all of you that are today under this line risk for large hail. Stay safe for all in Texas, and the next few weeks in Southern Plains, in the Midwest, maybe a little bit in the Southeast. So please stay safe, y'all. If you like this video, give a like, subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see y'all next time. Peace.